was around it, I smelled it, I knew what it smelled like, I knew how it made them feel.
As a child, Eric Martin knew what marijuana was. He says family members would smoke during stressful times, but his dad tried to keep him away from it.
The one thing he used to always talk about was smoking. He used to always say, man, don't get caught in that. He was like, man, it control your life, it'll control you, it'll control you. And I used to always, I listened.
Until college. Eric says he started smoking then, partly to ease the pressure of school and his role as a defensive end on the University of Nebraska's elite football team.
It kept my mind clear. That's one thing about playing football. You always got to have a clear mind. Like, you got to be prepared for mistakes.
He says marijuana also helped after college. He joined the NFL in 2013 and was signed by the Patriots in 2014 as an undrafted free agent. Eric says the uncertainty of his role was hard. He felt depressed at times, and his body felt all the injuries, including concussions he sustained over the years. He says marijuana eased his symptoms.
It's something that's just a balance. It balances you out when you're going through ups and downs and stuff. I think my recovery, being out the league and keep taking care of myself mentally and physically and emotionally with this medicine has helped me.
The U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency calls marijuana a mind-altering drug. The plant contains more than 400 chemicals. The main chemical component, THC, is believed to produce the high users describe. Another, cannabidiol, or CBD, does not produce a high and may treat some symptoms. It's also important to note the DEA says there are no reports of anyone dying from a marijuana overdose. Today, 29 states plus the District of Columbia have medical marijuana.
There is evidence to support the use of cannabis for a variety of medical conditions.
Dr. Kevin Hill is the director of addiction psychiatry at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. He's also the author of a reference book focused on the science around marijuana. In a 2015 review in the Journal of the American Medical Association, Dr. Hill found there are proven benefits of using marijuana to treat 3 conditions.
Chronic pain, neuropathic pain, which is kind of a burning sensation that you get in your nerves associated with certain medical conditions, and then muscle spasticity associated with multiple sclerosis. And so for each of those 3 conditions, there are multiple positive randomized controlled trials, which are pretty much the gold standard in terms of scientific research.
Beyond that, Hill says the research just isn't there.
Unfortunately, the way that the regulations have been written, you can certify somebody to use medical cannabis for any medical condition you see fit. And that's what's happened. A lot of people who are selling cannabis in the dispensaries are promoting its use for a variety of conditions where, unfortunately, there just isn't much or any evidence.
A point Dr. Jody Gilman, a neuroscientist at Mass General Hospital, agrees with.
In a lot of ways, the policy is way ahead of the science. We haven't even done long-term studies of cannabis on the brain.
Despite that, Gilman says we do know there is some risk associated with marijuana use, especially among young people, and it comes down to 3 things. First, age. The earlier someone starts, the more likely it becomes that they could become addicted.
If you start at 13, 14, 15, 16, you're going to do much worse than somebody who waits till their late 20s to start using marijuana.
Second, how often someone uses. Long-term daily use can lead to more negative impacts, things like difficulty thinking or worsening anxiety. And lastly, the concentration of THC in the cannabis.
The most recent estimates of who becomes addicted to marijuana is about 10%, 9 to 10%. So about 1 in every 10 people will become addicted to marijuana, and these are adults. So how do you know if you're the 1 in 10? You really don't.
Dr. Gilman says there's a strong association between marijuana use and an increased use of alcohol and other drugs. But Dr. Hill says it's not clear marijuana use will lead to other drug use, and that's why he doesn't like the term gateway drug.
If a young person is using cannabis or nicotine or alcohol at a young age, then that's a cause for concern. That's a risky behavior. It increases the likelihood that they're going to develop problems in the future, but it's not automatic.
Do you think you're addicted to marijuana?
I'm not addicted, no. I can stop at any time.
Today, Eric Martin says he uses marijuana to treat lingering depression and aches of old injuries. He says he's never felt the urge to try other drugs, and he hopes to launch a cannabis business, CBD-infused products tailored towards athletes to help with recovery.
At least try it and give the players a chance, because players are out there hurting themselves really bad, and these players are only getting bigger, faster, and stronger.
Both doctors that we spoke to say that they, of course, believe that more research needs to be done here.
But for 2018, the Cannabis Control Commission has only allotted $70,000, and that's just 1% of their budget toward mandated research.